Welcome back, focused learners, to today's Explainer. We're diving into some highly requested source material that tackles a financial belief that honestly affects pretty much all of us. We're going to totally dismantle the assumption that you need this massive six-figure salary to achieve financial freedom. And more importantly, we're going to outline the exact, proven strategies to build real wealth on any income.
Okay, let's dive into this. Because the biggest roadblock most people face right out of the gate is this deep-seated assumption that wealth is exclusively reserved for, doctors, top executives, or lottery winners. And it is incredibly frustrating, isn't it? Working your tail off, putting in the long hours, getting your paycheck, and still feeling completely broke by the end of the month just because your salary isn't massive. Well, the source material completely validates that frustration, but then it completely flips the script on what actually causes it.
Look at this stark mathematical contrast, which is really the core thesis of our entire explainer. On one hand, you have someone earning 10 grand a month, but they are spending 9,800 of it just to maintain the illusion of being wealthy. I mean, the stress of that alone must be absolutely exhausting. Mathematically, they're literally just treading water. But then on the other hand, you have someone earning just $800 a month, but because they are carving out and investing a portion of that consistently, over time, they're the ones who actually become financially free. So being rich, it's really not about how much you earn. It is entirely about how much you keep and how wisely you invest it.
To help get you to that point of financial freedom, here is the clear three-step playbook we'll be following today. First, we'll uncover the wealth income illusion. Then we dive into the steps. Step 1 is lifestyle control, Step 2 is consistent investing, and Step 3 is income expansion.
All right, starting off with part 1, the wealth income illusion, and breaking that high income myth.
The source material points out a truly fascinating reality here. Everyday professionals, we're talking teachers, police officers, people earning very modest salaries, often build way more real wealth than extreme high earners. Overcoming this illusion really just comes down to one simple formula. It's a single truth you absolutely need to internalize before we look at the actual strategies. And it's this: while your income definitely matters, your financial habits matter so much more. Good habits will always outpace a high income if you give them enough time.
Let's move to Vi and see how this builds into our actual playbook. Step 1, lifestyle control, which basically boils down to living below your means.
This is absolutely crucial. It's the primary defensive step in your whole financial journey, because before you can grow your money, you literally have to protect it from yourself. The biggest enemy here? Lifestyle inflation. We've all been there, right? You get a raise, or maybe a nice holiday bonus, and instantly, almost instinctively, you feel this urge to lease a nicer car, or suddenly your perfectly fine phone feels completely ancient. The source material is explicitly clear on this. You must avoid this trap. Every single time your salary increases, do not immediately upgrade your lifestyle. You have to secure that new wealth through investments first, before you even think about increasing your spending.
I really want you to let this quote sink in for a second. The goal isn't to look rich. The goal is to become rich. It's such a punchy line, and it perfectly hammers home the stark contrast we were just talking about. Buying all those immediate, flashy upgrades might impress strangers at the grocery store or your neighbors, but it actively prevents you from actually becoming wealthy in your own bank account.
Moving right along to Step 2, consistent investing, and actually making your money work for you. Once you have your defense locked down, it is time for the offensive strategy. This requires carving out a piece of your income every single month, without fail. Now, I know when a lot of people hear the word investing, they panic. They think they have to sacrifice their entire paycheck and eat instant ramen forever. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is that you only need to carve out a 10 or 20% slice for your investments. That's it. The other 80% remains right there for your normal living expenses. So it's not about hiding everything under a mattress, it's just about consistently allocating a manageable slice.
And here is exactly why that small 10 to 20% slice matters so incredibly much over the long haul. It is all due to a little piece of magic called compound growth. Basically, it's the process where small, consistent investments turn into surprisingly massive amounts over the years. Think of it like rolling a tiny snowball down a really long hill. As it rolls, it constantly gathers more snow, getting bigger and bigger. Your money earns money, and then that new money goes right back to work to earn even more. It is that relentless snowball effect that transforms a tiny monthly contribution into serious, life-changing wealth.
Because of how this compounding actually works, your biggest advantage isn't having a massive pile of cash to start with. No, your biggest advantage is time. The source material heavily emphasizes that starting early, even if you're only putting away $20 a month, is vastly more important than waiting around until you feel like you quote-unquote have enough to invest. The sheer mechanics of time will do the heavy lifting for you. Honestly, the hardest part is simply taking that first step and starting.
That brings us to the final step of our playbook. Step 3, income expansion, which is essentially the ultimate wealth multiplier. Notice a key detail here. We only shift our focus to expanding our income after we've built those defensive habits of living below our means and the offensive habits of consistent investing. And this brilliantly illustrates some incredibly accessible skills you can start learning right now to create extra income streams. You absolutely do not need to go back to school for a decade to pull this off. The source highlights highly valuable modern options like freelancing, digital marketing, coding, or even mastering new AI tools. Learning these high-income skills acts as a massive multiplier, giving you way more capital to aggressively funnel back into your investments. Which brings us to a fundamental golden rule of the wealthy. Never, ever depend on just one paycheck. If your entire financial livelihood is tied to a single source of income, you are in a highly vulnerable position. If that job disappears, your income goes to zero. The wealthy actively build multiple sources of income to secure their financial freedom and really accelerate their whole journey. So, the crucial point here is that a low starting salary absolutely does not dictate your final destination, as long as you follow this system. Let's succinctly summarize the 3 definitive rules of our playbook. Number 1, spend less than you earn by actively avoiding lifestyle inflation. Number 2, invest consistently, allowing time and compound growth to work their absolute magic. And number 3, keep learning high-income skills so you can build multiple streams of revenue. I want to leave you with this final, somewhat provocative thought straight from our source material. Will your future be decided by your current salary or by your actual financial decisions? The incredibly empowering realization here is that you are completely in the driver's seat. If you implement these 3 steps and you give them enough time, you will be absolutely amazed at how far you can go regardless of what your current paycheck says today. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, keep focused on those financial goals. We'll see you next time.